special panel here this afternoon at MCM Comic Con. Would you like to meet the cast and the filmmakers of C? Of course you would, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring them out. The creator, Mr. Stephen Knight. Let me see you there, sir. Joining him on stage, the director, Mr. Francis Lawrence. Also, someone who, I don't even know if he's here yet. We're going to see if this works. It may do, it may not. Please welcome, Archie Madekwe! He's here! Oh, buddy, I'm just going to say one thing. Mate, so good to see you. Take a seat. You are so lucky you arrived because I have no idea what one of our other guests was going to do to you if you turned up late. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, playing Paris, Alfre Woodard! Oh, there is one more person in the show that you may know. Mr. Jason Momoa! Wow. Right, well, thanks for coming, everyone. Cheers for that. Hey, listen, lovely to see you all. First of all, how epic was that? Can I start by saying, I heard the rumour, and I don't know if this is true, $15 million an episode? Is that?
No, I mean, I've seen the reports that this is the most expensive show ever made, which is not true.
Oh, it's
No. I don't know where people got that story. It's not true. It wasn't cheap, but it's definitely not the most expensive show ever made.
I read, though, that you guys did some incredible stuff. I mean, the locations are amazing, but did you drain a river? To put this,
actually, Francis is visionary. I mean, both of them are, Stephen and Francis. But Francis is like, what's under this lake? Draining. Sure enough, there were these stumps. He's like, this is going to be amazing because civilization would have cut all this down. Now I want grass everywhere. So about 3 months, they seeded this grass, and then we showed up, and then we filled it back up, and the village was gone. That's the kind of vision that.
Well, Francis gets.
I kind of just picture Aquaman going, no, not the water, no, save the water. Let's talk about the sheer size of production. Then you said, talk about the locations and where you guys went to film.
We shot in British Columbia, which is in the northwest of Canada, just sort of above the northwest part of the United States. We were based in Vancouver, but we ended up shooting a lot on Vancouver Island and toward Whistler and out in the desert sometimes. And so typically we were a good hour and a half, 2 hours away from where we were all living. So we were really going out into the wilds. We didn't step foot onto a soundstage until I think episode 6. So everybody kind of had to brave the rain and the cold and the mud and animals and all of that.
I was going to say, what's it like being out on location for you guys as actors? Because, I mean, presumably, when you're doing your scenes, it's great and you're kind of busy, but on those down moments, not that you actually get many, judging from the first episode, but what are you guys doing? Because you're in the middle of nowhere, you're like, I'm going to get Burger King.
It was sort of like the Shackleford expedition. Okay.
Jason would play his bass guitar a lot. He would wander around with his bass guitar.
Yeah, I have a problem standing still, so I just have a bunch of toys. So I'm like, oh look, squirrel, and I'll just like walk around. So it like makes me sit. I just have music.
But I think that it definitely kept us in it. I think when you go to a soundstage, you have distractions like your phone, and you can go and sit down in a nice warm room and things like that. Well, I sometimes get distracted, and I found that it was way nicer just being out there together, knowing we're there doing the work.
Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your characters, because obviously we've just kind of met them in episode 1. First, before we do that, can we just talk about that battle? Wow. It's pretty epic, isn't it? And one thing you take from that battle is the fact that this is a TV show of that scale. What's that like trying to put that onto technically a small screen? Although let's be honest, none of us have small screens anymore. But what's that pressure like to do a battle like that, Jason? Because I mean that's pretty brutal.
I mean, a lot of it was already set in stone with Francis and everyone designing everything. I mean, you come in and you have a couple ideas, but that whole beautiful, amazing scene had been crafted and written way ahead before I even got there. So I just never done a fight scene where you can't actually look at someone before you're gonna get hit. It's basically just fighting with a blindfold. So that whole technique of like learning different ways to grapple and stay connected to the person you're gonna hurt. And then just the whole idea of like covering it up with sense so we all know who's who. So you see us spreading that stuff on us, that's so we can smell and know who we are. And yeah, it was tough. I mean, that's hands down the hardest fight scene I've ever done. Because we're on a wall, in the rain, in the mud, wearing, I don't know, like, I'm wearing like a football, which is this hardcore leather, and it's very...
Or as I call it, Wednesday. It's just a normal Wednesday. Yeah, it's fine. Well, let's talk about costumes, because, I mean, obviously, you have a little bit of body art, but in this, you all have kind of tribal markings. So is there hours in makeup to get these tribal markings on? Because they look pretty authentic.
Some people came in 2-3 hours ahead of the pre-dawn call. I made sure that I had some on my neck in the beginning, but I convinced them that I spent a lot of time and money making sure that my neck never wrinkles. So I didn't want to scrub on it. So I said, okay, so put some more on my face. But yes, that was a great thing. No makeup, but tons of tribal markings.
What I will say is I think that, one of the foundational element of the show in terms of design on all fronts, and this came from Steven, was the idea of blindness, right? That everybody is learning to live blind and has evolved to live blind. And part of the reason they have these markings, and it's scarification, not ink, is because it's tactile. So the idea is that we're working in all the other senses, right? So it's about touch, it's about smell, it's about temperature, it's about taste. And so for this tribe and the people that populate the show, it's a tactile sensation as opposed to something that visually represents something to somebody.
Maybe we should talk about the fact that, I don't know, did you guys have like a blind school? Like, how do you learn to be blind? Because obviously we take for granted the fact that, us guys sitting here, we can all see. So to take that away, does it genuinely enhance your other senses? Do you practice, or do you just kind of go, hey, I've just got to close my eye? How do you actually do that? Because it looks pretty authentic.
Well, my character can see, but I'd speak for everyone. I say, you never learn to be blind. We were taught by Joe Stretche a particular set of skills that people that are blind use day to day, and we could use those skills. And mine and Nessa's characters and Kofu, we live with our eyes closed most of our lives, and so we all lived in the same community, we all lived in the same world. We developed and enhanced those skills that Joe taught us to create like this world, but you never learn to be blind. We can't do that.
What kind of skills are they though? Because you almost like, particularly in the fight thing, is it done like a dance? Is it like, do you trip, you're going to do 2 steps forward? Because if you're not necessarily seeing that person, to know they've done their steps at the right time without getting hurt, it must be a
get hurt.
You get hurt, okay fine. You just get a punch in the face.
It is, like any fight scene, it's definitely choreographed. It's all blocked out and safety, and we spent a solid month on that fight scene getting everything ready. It's a very intricate, with the camera and the elements. It was that full-on dance. That water was unbelievable. I'm like that far away from hitting Big Dave. It's very, very close, and I can see obviously because I'm actually looking more his way than I'm fighting the guy. So we get really close.
So you guys were
spent a month in training to just be introduced to the skills that people who are blind use to navigate the physical world. So not only the primary actors, but everybody in all the atmosphere, everybody, at least 300 people, the stunts people, everybody was introduced to the same language. And so you add that, some of us just had to add our approach to acting, how we bring a character from the page to a human being, but then the people that had to do action had to marry the way of moving about with their very daring stunts.
Did you find that any of your senses, the other senses, were enhanced in any way whilst visually, impairing your vision? Did you find that?
I think what we found was, I don't think that their other senses were enhanced, but I think when they did the training, they would put on a sleep shade, and they would be taught some skills by Joe Strachey, our consultant. And I think what they discovered is that they would then focus more on the senses that they're not used to focusing on. And for everybody, it would be something slightly different, right? I think, Alfre, you were taste. Some people could feel temperature. I think Sylvia said she got really suddenly focused on temperature changes. And that could help her navigate through a space. But it wasn't that was enhanced, it was just that without the sort of dominant sense, when that's taken away from them briefly, you then start to focus on these other senses and learn how to use them. And people then sort of adapted those feelings into their character work.
I would like to talk about where this concept comes from, Steve, because obviously we know you from Peaky Blinders. I'm a big fan of a film called Lock, which you did with Tom Hardy, which I absolutely love. Where did this idea come from, and how did you then go, hey, let's go pitch it to Apple? Because that's insane, right? It's a huge thing.
I don't know, ideas come from a mysterious place. I think it's probably the same place that dreams come from. So it's sort of a question of sometimes when you're thinking about something else, something will come to you. But this happened to come to me when I was in LA, and 2 days after I'd had the idea and thought about it and worked it out and thought about the family and the journey, I happened to be getting the lift from my favourite producer in the world, Gemma Topping. And I got in the car and she said, what are you working on? I told her this idea and she began to drive more and more slowly, which I think was a good sign. And by the time we got to Santa Monica, she said she wanted to do it. So I wrote the first 2 hours, we took it around town. It felt that Apple, because this is a new venture, this is quite a groundbreaking idea, it felt that Apple were the right people, and the great thing that they did, and hopefully will continue to do, is leave the creative people alone, give you space, rather than the BBC do. And so
we can edit that, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hey buddy, I still work for you, it's fine.
But yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah, but it gives you space, gives you room to do stuff, and because we got the best possible people, that's why it's the best possible thing.
I was going to say, I think it was about a year ago, Jason, you guys were on the keynote, and you kind of teased that we were going to get to see. And one of the things they were talking about in the keynote was the fact that we want to leave these creative geniuses alone. Is that one of the things that appealed to you about doing such a big show like this for Apple TV+?
I've never had a script come to me that was this great. And normally there's a lot of actors in line before I even get there. So Stephen's script it's the best I've ever read. So that was amazing. Francis, that level of director, and then Apple to be able to launch that whole platform. I mean, it was surreal. And then to be one of the lead characters in it. I literally read 3 pages and then called my agent back and I said, book this. And because they were a little worried, like, oh, you've done this and you've played the barbarian and these kind of roles, but I really want you to read it. And the moment I read it, I'm like, it's not about that. It's about a man trying to keep his family together. And the more that, and then when I had a conversation with Stephen, he told me his whole idea about it, and I just went, oh. And I met Francis, and I met the producers, and it was it.
In truth, there is only one person on earth who could play Baba Voss. It's true.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for writing it. I really needed a job. I needed good material.
I have 2 problems. Number one, I find it hard to believe there's ever a queue of people that were before him ever in a job battle. Number 2, you kind of answered this to a degree, but I read that this was the part that you always wished you could play. Is that right? I mean, like in terms of the roles that come to you, this is the one that you felt was the most.
I think everything in my career has led me to this moment to play this character, because I feel like a lot of the characters I've played, they've never gotten to exercise the rest of their life. Maybe they've died off. Maybe there was too much about their past that we never saw first. Like this starts from the beginning, and we're gonna arc through the whole thing. And I get to go through all of these beautiful colors, and I've never experienced that with a lot of my other characters. So I feel like this has everything of me and obviously the challenge of being blind. But it's a lot. These 8 episodes are unbelievable, and it's hands down the best work I've ever done. It's the best show I've ever done.
And I'd probably agree with you, except for the fact I've seen your show Baywatch, so just saying.
Don't worry, I'm gonna fucking beat you up.
Don't speak about.
Sorry, children.
Do you know what? Earlier on they were like, look, we put Jason that end, we'll put you this end, I think it's just safest. And I was like, hey man, no, we'll be fine. We've met before on this little movie, I can't remember what it's called, Justice something. And we got on great. I mean, you mocked me when I said I was going to go to the gym. I don't know if you remember that, but you did. Yeah. Laugh it up. I think you said something like you could even spell gym. I think it was...
I apologize and I won't beat you up afterwards.
God bless you, I love you, man, and I will definitely go see you if you ever do another Justice League. Alfre, can we talk about Paris and how you got into your character? What kind of development did you go into to find this character? Also, quickly, we've sat you two together because you're very much Marvel. And don't look away. I don't want to break up a happy home, I'm just saying, because I've heard rumors of season 2. But you're Black Panther animated, Civil War, Luke Cage, don't mention that, different show. Luke Cage. And then DC. How's that work on set?
You never brought it up.
Oh, okay, so it was fine until now. Great, okay, fine. Alfre, as you were saying about your character.
Okay, so honestly, when my reps said, there's this script we're going to send you that Stephen Knight has, I said, I'll do it. He said, no, and Francis Lawrence is going to direct, and I said, I'm going to do it. He said, read the thing first. And I read it, and I've never turned pages so fast, and I've never said, oh my God, oh no, oh shh. So I was so ready for it. You could have asked me to be an Ayura, you could have asked me to just, take the first stab and I'm out of there. I just wanted to be in it. So, especially after Mariah, which was so deliciously villainous, I didn't necessarily want to be like a real nice woman and all. But I found Paris, and I found her a lot through first doing the blindness sensitivity training and working with a guy called Paradox Pollock, who helped us with movement and discovering the tribal, cultural, and our anthropology. So actually, in the process of that and what is given, I never go to work without a good script. I was able to find Paris, and then I loved her. And then once she helped birth your babies into the world while I was squatting, I hadn't squatted since I was a cheerleader, squatting for 3 days, and those babies were only 2 weeks old. Roman, the one that sees the hawk, that rascal weighed 12 pounds in 2 weeks. And they said, don't worry, Beta is smaller, she weighed 11 pounds. We have to slather them in KY jelly and jam, and I have never been closer to God than in those moments, because I just said, God, if I drop the babies, I'm gonna have to jump off the mountain. It's just, yeah. So it was easy to get into it once they thrust me into it.
I don't know if anyone wants to see Alfre squat. No, it's a different story. Hang on, and jam? Oh yeah, no, right, yeah. I can't have breakfast tomorrow because of you now, I'm just saying. Archie, what about discovering this? Because obviously, I've seen many of your TV stuff as well. To go into this level, what was that like for you? Because, this is slightly bigger than some of the smaller dramas and stuff that you've worked on.
I mean, obviously, it's huge, but you don't really...
I didn't want to scare you, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but you don't really think about... It's weird, you don't really think about that thing as you first get into it. Like, you read the script and like you fall in love with the world, like, these two have said, and then all of those things, and I went for a screen test with Francis and Nestor, and all the pieces kind of just start adding up, and then we all meet, we all get on, and there's never a moment, there was one moment I remember sitting there thinking, holy shit, like this is massive. Like, and it was during the slaver fight, and I was sitting on the, I'm not gonna tell anything. I'm not gonna tell any plots. Don't worry about that. But like, and you don't know what that means, but I was just sitting in the middle of this set in an episode. Won't tell you which one, but I was just looking around me thinking, oh my god, this is insane. and then I was just watching Joey work and like all this crazy, I've never been a part of fight scenes like that, and it was a learning experience, but you don't enter the world thinking, oh my god, this is so massive. Like, I just tried to like get my head around the character and the world and how exciting all those things were. I actually, when I first read, I read Forget the Backs, and I auditioned for Get the Backs, and then I remember being sent the size for Kofu, and it was like, Kofu can see, and I was like, well, that's shit. And I was like, this whole world is like a world that, you know, the entire world is mine, and that's boring. And then I realized like how much, you know, these twins mean to the story. So yeah, it was.
Thank you so much for not swearing as well, buddy. That was really good.
I literally ran straight into the car.
I mean, it's live streaming probably around the world, and we are. So thank you, buddy. I love the fact that literally, Alfre, you're the only one we can rely on. You leaked your own swear word, so thank you. Thank you. You're the only one actually making the final cut of this interview. Shit. Before we let you go, because we know you guys have got such an incredibly busy time with this show, and it is epic. I got told not to ask this question, but hey, you lot have sworn, so fuck it. I read, and sorry Apple, what we're gonna do. You guys have got season 2 already. Have you or not? Hang on, no. Jason, don't look at me like I'm still gonna get hurt. I know I'm gonna get hurt. Oh man.
I'm just visualizing the things I'm gonna do to you.
Hey, listen, buddy.
Unless they don't have to happen.
You're only human. Quit when you're ahead. Quit when you're ahead. Quit when you're ahead. All right, let's start this end. You got season 2. No, you need to talk into that because you know it's been recorded.
We can't possibly say. I don't think.
Okay, well let me put it this way. We are, so there's 8 episodes, right? 8 episodes, 1st of November, Apple TV+. Hi Apple, if you could send me the other 7, I'd be grateful. It's all going to be available, I think the first 3 in the first week, and then we get
first three on November 1st, and then 1 a week after that.
Okay, 1 a week. Let's go back to that then. So, is this going to go back to, do you remember when we used to watch a TV show weekly, and everyone would then go to work the next day and go, oh man, did you see that? And you could talk, because that's kind of died a little bit in the last couple of years for us. Because there's always some little work, oh yeah, they died at the end. Yeah, thanks buddy, I'm on season 2, on episode 1. So, do you feel like that's the way TV should be?
I think the way that we're doing this is great, is that people get enough to begin with, so they get 3 hours, and then you do get that thing where you have a reason the morning after to start talking about something, because everybody watched it at the same time. So, I think this is the perfect way of rolling it.
So, back to my earlier question, you've got season 2. Fine, don't worry. We asked the audience if they had some questions. Would you like to hear what those questions were?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, here they are. You're not going to like any of these. Joey said, will you marry me? I don't know who it was for, but she said, will you marry me? I can't. I'm not allowed, but I don't know. Jason, it's probably for you.
Alright, sorry.
Oh, so close. Cara says, could you do some more Hunger Games? I kind of...
There is a new book. I'm just saying, there's a new book that's out in May. Very exciting.
James says, is there a Zack Snyder cut of C? Probably not. Noah said, will you take me to Atlantis? No one wants to go to Atlantis. No, sorry, no, you're not going. And finally, Beck said, will you have my children? I don't know who it was for, whether she wants to nip out and to babysit her.
I'd have them come home, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please go crazy for our incredible cast? The show is on Apple TV Plus on the 1st of November. Ladies and gentlemen, the stars and the creators of C.